keep your toes pointing straight at the back there. Alright, thank you. So what we're trying to do this morning is to exercise the muscles at the hamstring here, the muscles at the calf, and the muscles that we have at the gluten here, the muscle at the buttock here. So that we're trying to convert all the fat there into muscles. So that's what we're going to do this morning. Thank you out there, everyone's at home. We want you to join us as we're going to do it. Please get your mats and make sure you make yourself ready to straight on your mat. This exercise as well will affect the lower part of the tummy here. And we want you to have good body and sound mind. We want you to get rid of the fat you carry all about all this one. Okay, you drop your leg. Drop your leg, drop it. Okay, your right leg back now. You can see the leg fully stretched at the back, knee locked, and the toes pointing straight back. Okay, you bring it back. Alright, you change to the other leg. You can see the leg fully stretched, fully stretched. If you are not feeling it at the hamstring here, you are not doing it. If you are not feeling it at the calf here, you are not doing it. And as well, you have to feel it at the lower back, at the lower part of the abdomen there, the lower down there, you must feel it there. Okay, now you bring it down. So now we are getting straight 10 from the left leg, straight 10. All right, your 10 there. 1, fully straight. Thank you. Back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, thank you very much. Okay, from the other leg now, another 10. Please, I want you to stretch your leg very well at the back. You feel it at the hamstring. You are feeling it at the thighs as well. You feel it at the calf, and the toes pointing straight. You can see his toes pointing straight at the back. Okay, you bring it down. All right, back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me just correct the mistake from these activities there. By the time he takes his leg out, he's bringing the knees back to the floor. Down, 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 down. Just bring it down, down, down. The knees on the floor, back. The knees on the floor. So this time around, when you take it out, you are not bringing the knees back to the floor. The knee halfway without getting to the floor. You hang it there and you bring it back. Okay, let me have that now. 1, thank you. 2, your leg fully stretched at the back, fully stretched. Thank you. 3, okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, thank you very much. Okay, from there we change to the other leg. You can see how we stretch it out. We are getting rid of the fat at the gluten here, the fat at the buttock, the fat at the thighs, the fat at the hamstring, the fat at the calf, and the fat in the lower in our legs. So that's what we're trying to do this morning. Okay, are you counting? How many now? 5, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, thank you very much. How was that?
Fine.
Are you feeling it at all? Are you feeling it at the top, at the half, yeah? Yes. Okay, you should feel it. If you're doing it very well, I know you well, you got to feel it very well. This time around, same exercise, but a little bit modification to it. Same exercise, I call it, but a little bit modification to it. Now we are going to stretch your left leg back. Now you stretch your right hand. Fully stretch at the back. You look up. All right. How was that? Please, I want you to try that as well at home. Get on your mat, your knees on the floor, 2 palms there. Stretch your right leg and the left hands out there. Okay, I'm counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, thank you very much. Now you change. Fully out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Thank you very much. You can see the leg pointing straight and the hand wall fully stretched at the front there. Okay, we got it one more time. Out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, from the other side, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thank you very much. Now with this, you are also getting the balance fitness as well. That's another component in fitness, your balance. Many cannot even get it. When you stretch it out this way, they tend to be shaking. No, that is not good for you and me. Stretch it out, get your balance. You have to maintain your balance. You can see my legs pointing straight and the hands out there. So my dear brother, this time around we are going to alternate the hands and the legs together. You get it this way. One, you change, two, like that. Okay, let's go. One, you can see the balance. All right, you start it all over again. Okay, get your balance through. Thank you. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Go. That's it. That's it. You can get as many 10. This is another 10 now. We've gotten like 3 10 now. Now make it 30. And we're going to 60 this time around. Now I told you we have to step it all a little bit. We can't continue to be getting 10, 10, 5, 5 at the same time again. No. We are stepping up. We are getting improved fitness. So we need to step up the exercise as well. Okay, now we've got it 30 from the 60. Now we are looking for the last 30. Yeah, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. So that makes it 40. You know, I told you we are looking for 60. Okay. The next 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. 50. Okay. The last 10. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. All right, that's good. So you can see now we've gotten 60 abdominal walk. Okay, all right, stand up. Stand up. Thank you very much. How was that? Where are you feeling it? Just let them know. Where are you feeling it?
The lower back.
The lower back.
This side.
Okay, the lower abdominal.
Yeah.
Okay. Your bicep and tricep there. Where again? You're not feeling it there?
I can feel it there.
That's what I want you to know. Thank you very much. It's good for you. All right. Viewers at home, I want you to repeat this as many as you can. You don't force yourself. When you're tired, you pause. You breathe in from the nose, out from your mouth. And then you rest like 20-30 seconds. It's okay for you, and make sure you get back to it. Please. And if you're feeling uncomfortable with it, you have to stop for today. You have to stop for today. Please. Tomorrow is another day. You can join us in doing the exercise. All right, from here, let me lead this. You can see still on the floor walk today. Okay? All right. I want to know if you can go to do this. All right, I'm up. You can see. All right, you can get your mask. Get the mask there. You can only use on the floor. Just get your mask. You know what I'm waiting for you. You can get your mask as well. Or if you have a small mattress that you can use it as well. Just make sure you make yourself comfortable and you're putting on nice sports clothing. Your canvas and your shirt or your shorts like this. So that will make you more comfortable. All right, up. So when you come up, you bring your knees to the elbow there. Back. You change it up. Thank you. Now we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How was that? Good. It's good for you and me. Okay. My friend, my daddy, my uncle, my sister, my brother at home, I tell you, good health doesn't just come to you. Good body doesn't just come to you. You have to encourage yourself, you motivate yourself, you keep on joining Keep Fit program every morning, and I bet it we are going to get better body and sound mind as well. Okay, thank you. Are you counting there? Yes. Okay. Okay, from there we're moving to this. You come up, you bring the 2 legs to yourself. 1, like 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so that's another 10 of another different kind of floor routine. Okay, All right, before we go today, let me just give you this. All right, the 2 legs up. So now we're bringing the fingers to the toes there. All right, 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, let's keep it. It's good for me and you. Thank you for joining us. Join us tomorrow on same program, same time, and on same TV. Thank you very much. We love you.
Good day, friends. My name is Olasode Oladapo, and I'm both excited and humbled to bring you this magical moment of inspiration. We've been having a beautiful time since the beginning of this journey, and I trust that by now you are a step closer to your greatness than when we began. Our focus today is treasures and their role in your greatness. Treasures are important because of their function and their value. They may be information, material possession, and immaterial possession. Our relationships with treasures can further aid our journey to greatness or cut it short. This leads me to an all-important question I want you to think about before you answer. What do you treasure? This question is important because your greatness is largely determined by the answer to that question. I ask again, what do you treasure? How does your treasure determine your greatness, you may ask me? Allow me to explain. It's because your treasure, what you treasure, determines your values and influences your actions. Let me say that again. What you treasure tells me what your values are and influences your actions. And your values and your actions ultimately determine your greatness. Treasure also determines how you utilize your resources. I know what you treasure by what you spend time on, by what you spend money on, and by the relationships you grow. The things you spend time and money on, they are like seeds that you water. They would eventually become a big fruit. So I know your treasure by what you spend your time on and by what you spend your money on and your resources. Treasure also produces fulfillment. And believe me, if there is no fulfillment in your journey, you most likely will not end up at greatness. So you see why the question, what do you treasure, is important, and why this week you need to answer the question, what do you treasure, before you move forward. Having said that much, it's important to note that there are treasures that produce greatness and there are treasures that hinder greatness. It means that there are things you treasure that will produce greatness in you, that will further aid your journey to greatness. And there are also things you treasure that will slow down your journey to greatness. Many people are not great today, not because they don't have potential, not because they don't have capacity, not because they don't have, but because they treasure the wrong things. And their journey to greatness is terribly slowed down. Therefore, it's important to do personal introspection, to look inwards, so as to, one, determine your treasure. An understanding of what you treasure is an important factor on your journey to greatness. It will be terrible to treasure the things that hinder your greatness and not be aware of it. It's important to also examine your treasures. I haven't found out what I treasure. Important to say, okay, what do I treasure? You write it down. Then I haven't found out what you treasure. It's important to ask yourself this question. Does my treasure move me forward on my journey to greatness? It's also important to ask this question. What do great people treasure? What do great people treasure? That's question. What impact does my treasure have on my life, my purpose, and my journey to greatness? When you answer these questions sincerely and honestly, it will reveal to you the areas of life where you need to consciously reorder your treasure. You see, most times when we examine our treasures, we discover a need to reorder them. This means we discover a need to discard some of our present treasures and adapt new ones. I want to acknowledge that this is a tough process that forces you to deal with emotional and psychological issues. However, to refuse to examine your treasures is to make permanent in your life a situation that is meant to be temporary. Are you willing to risk your greatness for temporary comfort? If your answer is no, may I suggest that you approach the issue with a lot of prayers if you believe in God, with a lot of reading and multiple consultations. In conclusion, I need you to know that external forces always seek to reorder your treasure, and this can occur so subtly that it goes unnoticed until it is done. Hence, the need to guard your heart with all diligence. Thank you so much for your time. I know you have been blessed by this time, and I want to believe that I will see you next week when we take the journey a step further. Thank you.
Prime Minister Balewa is making an official visit to America at the invitation of the President of the United States, John F. Kennedy. Waiting at the airport to greet him are Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson, Secretary of State Dean Rusk, Mr. Joseph Palmer, the American Ambassador to Nigeria, and other high-ranking American officials. Accompanying the Prime Minister is Minister of Foreign Affairs Wachuku, Ambassador Udochi, and Minister Shagari and Benson, and other key members of the Nigerian government.
Mr. Prime Minister, I am honored to welcome you and the distinguished members of your party to the United States. This welcome is only the beginning. You will find as you travel through this country a very deep and genuine interest in the exciting developments which are taking place in your country and in Africa today.
I am very pleased to be with you in Washington today, and I look forward to the week which we are to spend among you. I have no doubt that the American people will receive us with all the kindness that they all receive strangers. This is just a brief reply to your very warm address of welcome. Thank you.
An official motorcade now conveys Prime Minister Balewa to the center of Washington. Many friendly Americans are waiting to welcome Sir Abubakar to his home in Washington. During his stay in the American capital, the distinguished visitor will reside at the Blair House, the special residence for guests of the American president. Just across the street from the Blair House is the White House, where President Kennedy awaits Prime Minister Balewa. The two leaders are meeting to discuss matters of mutual and international interest. In a joint communique summarizing the outcome of their deliberations, they reaffirm their support for the principle of self-determination for dependent peoples and their unalterable opposition to racial discrimination under any name or in any guise. President Kennedy expressed his pleasure at the success of the Monrovia Conference and congratulated the Prime Minister on his constructive contribution. The two leaders affirmed their confidence that their exchange of views had strengthened the bonds of friendship between their two countries. The next stop for Sir Abubakar is a memorial to one of America's best-loved presidents, Abraham Lincoln. The Lincoln Memorial is a goal for every visitor to the American capital. Tourists from all over the world are drawn by a reverence for the man known by all men as the great emancipator. As they stand before the statue of Lincoln, the Prime Minister and his party remember the words in which Lincoln addressed his countrymen. He called upon them to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations. Sir Abubakar and his party see a monument to America's first president, George Washington, as they leave the Lincoln Memorial. A group of children proudly display the placard which Prime Minister Balewa has autographed for them. The United States Department of State is the Prime Minister's next stop. An exhibit of photographs from Nigeria and of Nigerian arts and crafts has been planned to coincide with Sir Abubakar's visit. This exhibit is aimed at helping Americans to understand the progress being made in Nigeria. Prime Minister Balewa is once again warmly greeted by Secretary of State Dean Rusk. The meeting affords an occasion for the two men and their advisors to confer on a wide variety of subjects. The House of Representatives of the United States invites Prime Minister Balewa to speak in a special session convened in his honor.
I regard it as a signal honor and privilege to be invited to address this world-famed gathering, not only because the United States of America is one of the leading nations of the world and one of the most powerful and advanced on earth today, but also because I believe that those who have struggled and worked to achieve independence will share with you and the great country which you represent a special meaning of liberty, of freedom from outside control, and opportunities for the fulfillment of one's national desires and cultural heritage. No one who visits the United States of America will fail to notice the effects of a free society and of a democratic system of government in which the rulers are the embodiments of the will of the people, and where the activity of those who rule are reviewed frankly from time to time by the entire population. We admire the American way of life, and we respect the people of the United States for their love of freedom. The spirit of freedom which was kindled in the hearts of the founders of your great nation and has impelled you to great feats in moments of national emergency, as well as in your daily activities. That same spirit has shown itself in Africa, and we are determined that the flame of freedom once alight shall not go out again in our continent.
The Islamic Center and Mosque is one of the American capital's more beautiful religious structures. Al-Haji Sir Abubakar arrives to visit the mosque, which is a center for study and research on Islam. Dr. Mahmoud Hobala, the director of the Islamic Center, greets Prime Minister Balewa. Dr. Hobala personally conducts his distinguished visitor on a tour of the center and answers the Prime Minister's questions about its varied activities. When Sir Abubakar visited the United States in 1955, the Islamic Center had not yet been completed. The Prime Minister is impressed by its finished state and also by America's interest in Islam. The chiefs of mission of the African nations hold a special reception in honor of Prime Minister Balewa and his party. Present at this gala occasion are Ambassador and Mrs. Udochi and many other distinguished official and diplomatic dignitaries. The gathering provides Prime Minister Balewa with an opportunity to renew a number of old friendships and to talk informally with new acquaintances and old friends alike. The National Press Club, whose membership includes distinguished world journalists, is one of the most influential forces on public opinion in the United States. Prime Minister Balewa, in response to a special invitation, addresses its members and then replies to their questions.
I would like to thank you, Mr. President, and the executive members of your organization for giving me the opportunity to address such a distinguished gathering.
The Prime Minister tells his audience that he is greatly encouraged by the increased interest that the United States is demonstrating in Nigeria and at other African nations. He states his belief that close association among African nations is of great importance, especially in the fields of health, transport, and communications. Speaking about the United Nations, he emphasizes that it is the only means of holding the world together.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you.
Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, was the site in 1863 of one of the decisive battles in the American Civil War. The war, sometimes known as the War Between the States, began in 1861 and ended in 1865. The Battle of Gettysburg was a turning point in the war, which ended in the defeat of the rebel forces. Sir Abubakar requested that his visit to the United States include a tour of this famous battlefield. That evening, Prime Minister Balewa gives a dinner in honor of President Kennedy. President Kennedy and Senator Hubert Humphrey engage Prime Minister Balewa in a few moments of informal conversation. Leaving Washington on July 28th, Prime Minister Balewa flies to Chicago. Northwestern University, near Chicago, is one of America's leading educational institutions. At the invitation of its president, Sir Abubakar and his party visit the university, which is well known for its African Studies program. Before touring the African Studies Center, the Prime Minister and his party signed the university's guest book. Professor Melville Herskovitz, head of the African Studies Center, escorts Sir Abubakar to the African Studies reading room. Northwestern University has a collection of 20,000 volumes on Africa. Professor Herskovits presents his honored guest with a collection of books on Africa published by the university. The Prime Minister tells the students and faculty at Northwestern that he is glad to see their interest in Africa. He adds that he soon expects Nigerian scholars to produce books like those at Northwestern, and congratulates the university on its foresight. Later that day, Prime Minister Balewa attends a reception in his honor given by the mayor of Chicago, Richard J. Daley. At the reception, Sir Abubakar is made an honorary citizen of Chicago, the nation's second largest city, with a population of over 3 million. Mayor Daley says that Prime Minister Balewa represents all that symbolizes progress, freedom, unity, and faith. On the 6th day of his visit to America, Sir Abubakar travels by plane to Knoxville, Tennessee. There, Sir Abubakar visits the Fort Loudoun Dam, part of the Tennessee Valley Authority, which is widely known as TVA. The world-famous TVA project was established to develop the Tennessee River for flood control, navigation, and electric power production. It provides controlled irrigation and low-cost electric power to the people of a region covering 40,000 square miles, approximately the area of the Republic of Liberia. Prime Minister Balewa takes particular interest in the Tennessee Valley Project, since a similar plan is underway in his own country to make the fullest possible use of the great Niger River. A few miles from the dam, Sir Abubakar visits a farm. This farm was chosen a few years ago by the Tennessee Valley Authority as an experimental test farm. By means of modern fertilizers and agricultural methods, it has been changed in a short time from a barren and unproductive piece of land to what the Prime Minister now sees. Lessons derived from experimental farms benefit the entire valley. The Prime Minister finds interest in a farm machine which gathers hay and packs it into bales. A group of neighbors has come to the farm to give a small party in honor of Sir Abubakar. Taking leave of Knoxville, Prime Minister Balewa goes on to New York. Sir Abubakar is on his way to New York University, which is the largest private educational institution in the United States, with a student body of over 40,000. The Prime Minister receives the highest honor accorded by the university, the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa. The citation to Prime Minister Balewa extols his influence, which extends beyond the boundaries of his country as a constructive force in the continent of Africa and throughout the world. The Overseas Press Club in New York, an organization of American foreign correspondents, holds a luncheon in honor of Sir Abubakar. Addressing its members, Prime Minister Balewa says that the United States can help the African nations by giving them encouragement, by telling nations who still rule African countries to give them freedom, and by putting at the disposal of African countries the knowledge and experience America has accumulated. At New York's most famous hotel, the Waldorf Astoria, the African American Institute and the American Society of African Culture give a dinner in honor of Prime Minister Balewa. Among the many distinguished guests is Mr. James Farley, whose counsel is often sought by statesmen at home and abroad. Sir Abubakar is delighted to encounter the famous American singer, Marian Anderson. The United Nations is ready to receive Prime Minister Balewa. The Prime Minister, one of the most outspoken supporters of the United Nations, attends a meeting of the delegates of the African and Asian nations. He reminds the delegates of the importance of working together and presses upon them that it is desirable not to form blocs, but to pursue the truth and try to bring some sanity into the world. After addressing the African and Asian delegates, Prime Minister Balewa meets United Nations Secretary General Dag Hammarskjöld, who escorts Sir Abubakar into the auditorium of the General Assembly, which was not in session at the time of his visit. Prime Minister Balewa's last appearance in the United States takes place at Gracie Mansion, the residence of New York's Mayor, Robert F. Wagner. At a reception in honor of the distinguished visitor, Mayor Wagner accords Prime Minister Balewa honorary citizenship of New York, the nation's largest city. American Ambassador to the United Nations, Adlai Stevenson, greets Sir Abubakar. After receiving a symbol of his New York citizenship, the Prime Minister addresses a few words of farewell to the American people.
I find it difficult to express to you my thanks because since my arrival in the United States, I've been receiving a lot of kindness and hospitality from different people, from the President, from all the people, and now on the eve of my departure to my country, from you, Mr. Mayor. You in the United States have got a lot to teach the rest of the world in the art of living together in peace with one another. I go back to my country with a lot of encouragement, knowing fully well that the people of the United States think well of us, and we are very eager also to be the friends of your citizens. I hope that by our coming together, by our exchanging ideas, and by showing one another mutual respect and understanding, we shall be able to make this world a better place for mankind. Once again, thank you very much. And we shall go back to Nigeria with the happy memories of our stay in the United States of America.
Good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, ma. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Èdè òyìnbó kì í ṣe ti bàbá mi. Wọ́n ní nǹkan katapila, èyí mẹ́ta kò sọlẹ̀. Mo sọ òyìnbó títí mo bá sáré bí kẹ̀tì. Ajá ọbẹ̀ la ṣe di ẹ̀ lórí o. Good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, ma. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, ma. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Oúnjẹ òyìnbó kì í ṣe ti bàbá mi. Èyìnbó mu tí bàbá mi mú kọ. Ṣé bómi gbóná ní gbogbo àjọ ń rìn? Àjọ bẹ̀ la ṣe di ẹ̀ lórí o. Sótàn good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, ma. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, ma. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Ẹ̀wù òyìnbó kì í ṣe ti bàbá mi. Èyìnbó wọ súùtù, bàbá mi wọ kẹ̀mbẹ́. Ṣé báṣọ ni gbogbo wa jọ ń wọ̀? Àjọ bẹ̀ la ṣe di ẹ̀ lólè. Good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, ma. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, ma. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Ìjó òyìnbó kì í ṣe ti bàbá mi. Èyìnbó jó breakings máa yára ju bàtà. Ṣé bẹ́sẹ̀ ni gbogbo wa fi túlẹ̀? Àjọ bẹ̀ la ṣe di ẹ̀ lólè o. Good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, ma. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, ma. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Ibi ń bá rẹ̀ máa yára gbé ilẹ̀ mi lárugẹ. Ẹlẹ́rù ní tìjú, mo ní fọwọ́ sí ju ẹlẹ́wà. Ẹlẹ́rù níbi síbi jẹyàn, wọ́n mọ̀ fi ìrẹ̀lẹ̀ kẹ́ni ó bá jù mí lọ. Ẹbí mo ra àwọn èèyàn mi, máa yára sọ èdè mi sí. N ò ní máa dígbọ́ fún ẹ, mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ èdè mi, mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ ilẹ̀ mi. Àwọn èèyàn mi ti dára tó, ibi orí dá mi sí ni mò ń gbé o. Èdùà ó máa ṣe. Good morning, Èdùmàrè. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́. Good morning, Èdùà. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn mọ́.
Thrones. It is filled with coups, deception, and death. Since 1963, 13 men have claimed presidency over Nigeria, some by force, some by the people, and one basically with good luck. How they are fared as heads of state is subjective. However, history is what we will look at today on Green Click. By the way, be a friend and subscribe, share, and like to help us make more videos you love about our great country. Let's dive in. Abubakar Tafawa Balewa was the first leader of Nigeria, but he was a bestowed prime minister that helped Nigeria transition from the monarchy to the indigenous rule of Nigeria. He lasted 3 years as a prime minister until Nnamdi Azikiwe became the very first president. Azikiwe was a journalist in America before coming back to Nigeria, where he established the University of Nigeria. However, he only lasted as the head of Nigeria for 3 years, as his rule was cut short by Major General Johnson Aguiyi Ironsi. Ironsi seized power in 1966 after a bloody coup in which his army killed Balewa, the very first prime minister. But as we know, those who live by the sword will die by the sword. Ironsi did not last a year because he was murdered by his own men. When you kill darlings of Nigeria, you rarely get away with it. Ironsi's chief of staff, Yakubu Gowon, was elected to rule by serving junior officers right after his predecessor's death. Once in power, Gowon sparked the Biafran War, also known as the Nigerian Civil War, which claimed more than 1 million lives in 30 months. During his reign, natural oil began to put Nigeria on the international stage. Gowon's positive contribution to Nigeria was the construction of the international airport, a stadium, and an arts theater. He was in office for almost 9 years until he was overthrown by General Murtala Mohammed. Murtala Mohammed overthrew Gowon while Gowon was at a summit in Uganda. He was the leader to make Abuja the federal capital of Nigeria while creating 7 more states in Nigeria. You could call him somewhat of a communist leader, as he controlled the media airwaves of the country. He also decreased the amount of officers in the army by almost 100,000 men. He also did not last more than 200 days, as he was assassinated before the age of 40. He was shot in his car on the way to his office. General Olusegun Obasanjo succeeded Murtala Mohammed and acted as Balewa, but this time helped transition Nigerian leadership from the current military to the civilian rule. He was in office for 3 years until the country held general elections in 1979 and its citizens appointed Shehu Shagari. Mr. One Nation, One Destiny was in office for 4 years. During his term, he focused on housing, transportation, and agriculture. However, his camp became a target of corruption claims, and an economic recession during the oil boom period did not help his claim to be a good leader. Shagari was eventually overthrown by General Muhammadu Buhari, who immediately tried to improve the Nigerian economy. His rule in his 3-year period is known to be one of the harsh policies, but with the honest intent of making Nigeria better. He increased interest rates and pushed Nigeria from the International Monetary Fund. He also waged the war against indiscipline, which is the legacy of having soldiers with whips, ready to discipline any civilian not following the law. At the end of the day, you cannot please everyone, and Buhari was overthrown by General Ibrahim Babangida. Babangida claimed that Buhari failed to deal with the Nigerian economic problems. He condemned Buhari to detention for almost 3 years. While head of Nigeria for almost 8 years, Babangida created 11 more states, devalued the Naira after pressure from the World Bank and the IMF. He also legalized the formation of political parties and promised to let presidential elections happen to determine the next president. MKO Abiola was the unofficial elected president. However, Babangida annulled the elections. It was probably the most corrupt leadership period in Nigerian history. Eventually, IBB resigned as the leader of Nigeria and gave the title to President Ernest Shonekan. He had the unenviable task of turning a shambolic economy to a stable one. But unfortunately, President Shonekan lasted for less than 3 months before he was overthrown by General Sani Abacha. Abacha, a wildly infamous president, came in and immediately gave himself immunity from prosecution and granted himself absolute power. Ruthless against anyone who opposed him, Abacha gained the international infamy and surprisingly improved the economy of Nigeria, increasing the reserves by almost 18 times and drastically reducing the national debt. His 4 years plus came to a screeching halt as he was found dead in his home. Speculations about his death has lingered on for years, as the official cause of death was a heart attack. But the average Nigerian believes he was poisoned by 2 prostitutes imported from Dubai, possibly with an apple. General Abdulsalami Abubakar reluctantly took office after the death of Abacha. He was in office just shy of a year and handed the presidency back to civilian rule in 1999. Did you happen to miss Olusegun Obasanjo? because he was elected president of Nigeria, but as a civilian. He traveled around aiming to fix the name and reputation of Nigeria. On his successful second term, he defeated Buhari, which was filled with cultural and religious tension. However, Obasanjo was aiming for a third term, one he refused to this day, but we will talk about that in another video. President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua was sworn in office after 8 years of Obasanjo. Not much can be said about his reign because he died in office just shy of 3 years into his term. He was receiving treatment for pericarditis, and then Vice President Goodluck Jonathan became acting president until Yar'Adua unfortunately did not recover. So Goodluck Jonathan took on the role of presidency under, and I quote, very sad and unusual circumstances, but aimed to tackle corruption, the unstable electricity issue, and to improve the economy. Some will mention that his rule was also a corrupt one, while others say he was easily manipulated by those around him. Goodluck was in office for 5 years. Now we come to our current president, who like Obasanjo is serving a civilian leadership after being a military leader. President Buhari has spent most of his first term negating the Boko Haram influence and traveling. He is currently looking for a second term, but his competition seems fierce. Wow, so in total there have been 13 presidents. 2 were assassinated, 2 died in office, 2 have served 2 different times as presidents, and 1 has become a president from being a vice president. Definitely, this is a very condensed version of the history of the Nigerian presidency. We encourage you to read more so that it can help you as you go out and vote this year. Thank you for spending a few hours of your day with us. If you would like to be informed when we roll out new videos, subscribe and give us a like. Share this with a friend and drop a comment if you disagree or would like to request.
Good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn bọ̀. Good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn bọ̀. Good morning, ma. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn bọ̀. Èdè òyìnbó kì í ṣe ti bàbá mi. Wọ́n ní pé katapila èyí mẹ́ta fò sọ́lẹ̀. Mo sọ òyìnbó títí mo gbà sáré mi kẹ́tì. Ajá ọ̀gbẹ́ la ṣe di ẹ̀ lólè o. Good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn bọ̀. Good morning, ma. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn bọ̀. Good morning, sir. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn bọ̀. Good morning, ma. Adúpẹ́ mo gbóyìn bọ̀.
The all-embracing phenomenon called transportation is a measure of relationship between places. Transportation performs the role of linking supply and demand. As a means of conveying people, goods, and information through places, the provision of transport facilities and services is very crucial to the economic, political, social, and cultural life of any country or nation. Thus considered, transport contributes to the overall development of a country since it serves as an essential means of collecting, moving, transferring, and distributing people as well as goods from place to place. Importation and exportation depend so much on transportation, which provides the movement and logistics for the goods imported or for export. In real terms, transport development is considered one of the greatest technological breakthroughs. This is because man has through these feats recreated the concept of distance and nearness. The socio-political relationship between countries could not have been possible without transport links between them. Transport can therefore be labeled as the catalyst that stimulates and improves human existence on Earth and reduces distance for man's trips in space. It is also clear that through transport, man has been able to move into space, circulate around the urban areas or centers of the world, thereby improving and enhancing his knowledge on planet Earth. The rapid urbanization around the world means that more people will be making more trips in urban areas. Since transportation is the life wire of any urban society, it will make or mar the environment depending on the interactive measures and degrees of responsiveness to transport planning and management in urban development. There are basically three means of transportation in Nigeria: land, water, and air, and each of these means has its own peculiarity. Land is the most widely used means of transportation in Nigeria. Vehicles, motorcycles, bicycles all make use of land, and transportation by land is also called road transportation. An average Nigerian makes use of road transportation day in, day out. For some, it is the only means available to them, while for some, it is the only affordable means. Our farmers transport their farm produce using the road transportation, and a good number of people who travel in and out of different states make use of the road transportation as it is more affordable to an average Nigerian. Cars have the highest percentage of automobiles that ply the roads daily. Other vehicles like heavy-duty vehicles and its likes also ply the roads, but not as frequent, especially in as a reliable source of income and business venture. Another unique form of road transportation is the use of motorcycles, popularly known as Okada, while the Hausas call it Achaba. Okadas have been said to be a very fast means of transportation. In situations where there is serious traffic, an Okada will beat the traffic and commuters will get their destinations on time, even though Okada has been said to be risky and dangerous due to its tendency to record sporadic accidents. These accidents are courtesy of the recklessness of the Okada riders at times. A lot of young men delve into riding Okada for commercial purpose as a means of livelihood due to unemployment. But in recent times, government has been banning Okada in major cities in different states across the country. Another form of road transportation is by train. The railway used to be very busy many years back in Nigeria, but the usage of the rail system has been very low because the railways have been dilapidated. But the attention of the government has been brought to the importance and benefits of using the trains transportation, and the usage has been rekindled. The railways are now being renovated and upgraded. It is, however, known to Nigerians that the heavy-duty vehicles causes a lot of damage on the roads, therefore raising the argument that the heavy goods should be transported through the railway lines. Examples are food items in heavy bags, cement, and even petroleum products. Water is another means of transportation from one place to the other within a particular environment. It is peculiar with those who dwell in the riverine areas, and in some cases, that is the only means of transportation available for them. Goods are also being transported through waters. Ships, boats, and yachts are used on water to transport people and goods from one place to another and from countries to countries.
I have not recorded a single mishap since we started in 2001. It is the safest means of transportation as far as we are concerned.
Waterways in Nigeria have become modernized as there are agencies that manage activities on the waterways. The Nigerian Ports Authority is responsible for managing Nigerian ports. They clear and supervise goods that are brought into the country through water. In recent times, though, people have embraced the idea of transporting themselves to their destinations through water. For instance, in Lagos, a lot of people go to places of work by water in order to avoid traffic.
It will save me time and it will save me other stress like being on the traffic, so it's very fast for me to use the boat rather than go and stuck myself in the traffic.
Here to Kodu can take passengers almost 3 hours daily. But when they use water, it is between 30 and 45 minutes. They are in Ikorodu. And if you are going to Apapa, it's 10 minutes from CMS to Apapa. But on land, it's like an hour.
The state government has also made this alternative easier for commuters. Water as a means of transportation has not been totally explored in Nigeria. Air is another means of transportation in Nigeria, even though more than half of the country's population don't use this means due to its cost. Transportation by air has been said to be the fastest means of transportation, as a journey that could last hours by road will not take up to an hour by air. A lot of people would actually opt for transportation by air if it was to be more affordable. An efficient air transport contributes to economic growth and development. However, in Nigeria, it suffers from poor reputation for operational efficiency and safety. This is attested by the present state of the industry in the country. Recently, available statistics and data show an increase in the use of air transportation. In Nigeria, this is facing problems which arise as a result of factors militating against efficiency of the system. These factors include absence of a coherent air transport policy, bad management, decaying facilities, loose security, closure of airports, intermittent air crashes. There are so many factors militating against transportation in Nigeria, as seen in everyday activities on the road, sea, and air. Human factors as a result of indiscipline, corruption, enforcement problems, disobedience and disregard for law, poor driving habits, market and marketing activities, stacking of building materials on roads and occasional traffic, parking overspill from religious and social centers. A lot of these parties are held on the roads meant for cars and pedestrians, leading to road blockage. When this happens, people will divert to other roads, and so many vehicles plying that road can lead to heavy traffic. Nigerians are also known to be business-minded people, and they can transact a business anywhere. A lot of people pitch their businesses on the main road, buying and selling on the road. Everyone wants to have a space. This can be seen as means of survival, but it contributes to tightness in the road. Many of the building contractors transport their goods with heavy-duty vehicles and mostly get damaged on the roads. These have led to road accidents on several occasions and also cause heavy traffic. Nigerians are believed to lack patience, and these has in many ways endangered lives of people on the roads. A good road without a proper drainage system will eventually become a bad road. People don't make use of the proper refuse disposal. Instead, they lackadaisically dump their refuse in the nearest gutters to them. These will disrupt proper drainage system when it rains. Apart from the water not flowing properly as it should, the refuse initially dumped into gutter will be flushed to the main road, coupled with a flood that will fill the roads. This can lead to erosion. Poor transit facilities, lack of sidewalks, pedestrian walkways, cycleways, bus stops, and traffic control devices, and lack of traffic information systems. Over time, in most cases in Nigeria, when roads are being constructed, they are constructed mainly for vehicles. Pedestrians are not totally being put into consideration. But in recent times, in more civilized places in Nigeria, pedestrians now have their walkways. Also, bus stops are insufficient for easy transportation and location of destinations. But bus stops are highly effective as they help in locating places. Bus stops also serve as a place where passengers converge and alight. This makes transportation smoother. Some school of thoughts have come to the conclusion that all forms of road transportation should have their lanes. We see in most cases where heavy-duty vehicles ply the same roads as cars, even while some of these roads are still under construction or, in some cases, under repair. This affects the longevity and durability of the road. There is no systematic guide or plan to guide a city's growth, and lack of an integrated, comprehensive, and coordinated positive policy, poor and non-integrative institutional arrangement. Environmental deficiencies and general urban management problems, frequent friction, and conflicting responsibility among different levels of government over land use controls. These are part of the problems militating against transportation in Nigeria. There is the urgent need to engage professionals to assist in achieving functional, responsive, and sustainable beyond sustainability of transport in Nigeria. A sustainable transportation system has its goals, service output, and stewardship of the landscape and resource base, not simply the efficiency of the highway system. The objective of which is to maximize the use of the transportation system to achieve economic and related social and environmental goals without sacrificing the ability of future generations to do so. This can be accomplished by concentrating on moving people and goods rather than vehicles, or avoiding movement altogether. If telecommunications or changes in land use can substitute for present travel needs, increase the use of market-based policies to encourage innovation in transportation operations and to capture the full environmental and social cost of transportation. Improve the efficiency of existing infrastructure through technical fixes in a multimodal network and addressing public concerns regarding social equity in system design. There should be consistent public enlightenment on the need for regular maintenance of vehicles, use of appropriate tires, correct driving habits, and relative energy efficiency of various vehicles. Eradicate the sale of adulterated and leaded fuel, set up emission standards for imported vehicles, promote research on alternative energies such as electricity and solar energies, as well as phased program of low-emission automobile fuel such as unleaded gasoline and compressed natural gas. Demographic and population attributes mapping of the physiographic situation, need for transport development plan and conference whereby all stakeholders in the area of transportation are brought together to articulate. The air sector should be reviewed and people should be assured that their lives are in safe hands as they board aircrafts. Licenses should not just be given to any agency who has the wherewithal to run an airline, but also those who acquires the right aircraft and hire competent hands who will manage those equipments. It must, however, be said that private establishment thrives well in Nigeria, but the country has experienced disasters in this sector in the time past as a result of carelessness or bad aircraft that were not airworthy. Government should also endeavor that its own airline works. The Nigerian Airways, as we know, has faded off the memory of many Nigerians who knew about it in the early 80s. Instead, many private airlines trend with vigor in a country with over 150 million people. Across board, the transportation sector must be reviewed in Nigeria in order to save lives and properties and also for income generation.
Blessing Emmanuel, who flicks it on to Tawa Afolabi, and she gets it to Esther Jakaye, who puts it into the back of the net. Beautiful goal by the Flamingos, and the score 1-0 in favor of Nigeria. Beautiful flick there by Blessing Emmanuel, and Tawa Afolabi does a great job of holding off two defenders and getting the ball perfectly to Esther Jakaye, and she does the rest, putting the ball into the back of the net. And the score, Flamingos of Nigeria 1, Egypt 0. Next up is a corner kick taken by Fatima Adesina, and it bounces just right for Omowumi Bello, and she heads it into the back of the net. Second goal for the Flamingos against the Egyptians. And as you see, the corner kick comes in, goalkeeper tries to go for it, misses it, and it just bounced perfectly for Omowumi Bello, and she does the rest, putting the ball into the back of the net. And here we have a showing from the Egyptians. Nada Mansour gets the ball into the area. Razan Tayel gets a foot on it, but she doesn't get it on target. Ball goes wide, and that chance goes away for the Egyptians. Moving to the second half, a corner kick for the Flamingos, and it's headed out of the area, but not as far as Miracle Usani, who slams the ball into the back of the net. And the third goal for the Flamingos, and they're on their way right now. Beautiful goal by Miracle Usani, as you see, headed out by the Egyptian, and she's right there at the edge of the box just to slam the ball into the back of the net. Beautiful goal by Miracle Usani, and the score 3-0. And here we have an opportunity for Omowumi Bello right in front of goal. Goalkeeper rushes her, but she can't get the ball on target right there, and that chance goes away. Captain of the side, Dazosu, finds Messi Timi, and she just goes off, goes through three defenders, makes her way to the byline, and puts a ball into the area for a teammate. And you have Esther Jakaye just having the easy job of putting the ball into an unattended net. And the score, Flamingos of Nigeria.
And a wonderful morning to you, and welcome to Sport on OSBC TV. There we go, Kipale Oshugo Motayo Adibodi is manning welcoming you to this morning's edition. And yes, we begin from the home front as usual, as we understand that OCP0 says is eager to face the Portuguese side. Remember that the Super Eagles will be playing against Portugal in an international friendly. Portugal preparing for the World Cup, while Nigeria preparing to go nowhere. But well, it's come to say is battle ready for the Portugal, a Nigerian team that cannot defeat Algeria, ready to face Portugal. Well, these are some of the things we'll be looking at this morning. And as we understand that, well, Chelsea women came from behind yesterday to defeat West Ham in the WSL, talking about Women's Super League match day 3 yesterday. And of course, Arsenal booked their place in this year's UEFA Champions League draw. That's talking about Arsenal women. These are some of the things we'll be looking at. Of course, giving you the table for the WSL. Matches returned this weekend. I will see how things pans out. Ayomide Oladokun joins me in the studios this morning. Good morning and welcome on board.
Yeah, good morning, dear listeners. Good morning. I am Ayomide Oladokun.
All right, let's begin very quickly. We understand this morning that OZP0 wants or says is eager to face the Portuguese side. For a OZP0 that has a bad record, let me just put it straight. His record isn't being good. He's played 5 matches for the Super Eagles. With the Super Eagles, 2 international friendly or 4 international. 3 international friendly, if I'm not mistaken, and 2 official international matches. He's won 2 and he's lost 4.
Looking at this man, OZP0, him eyeing the match against him and Portugal is something that is good. Like, okay, he has played 5 matches for Nigeria, like coaching the Super Eagles to several friendly games. And looking at his team, we have seen that okay, this is where we have good foot like to feel. And looking at him playing Portugal, I see that it's something. It will add more experience to the team as a whole.
It will add more experience to the team as a whole. But do you see the Super Eagles getting any points from that match?
Getting points from the match is not something that we have to focus on. Just like what we have to focus on now is like, okay, how are we prepared? Like, how are we doing good? Like, how have we advanced than the previous manager under the manager
this team? All right. Let's move on this morning talking about the UEFA Champions League group stages that will be coming up soonest. But this is the case of what a man cannot do, a woman can do better. Arsenal women progressed to the group stage of the UEFA Champions League, Women's UEFA Champions League, courtesy of the Netherlands, my Dema's goal. And it was 3-2 on aggregate yesterday night in Netherlands, having played out a 2-2 draw with Ajax in the first leg, playing a 1-0 win yesterday away from home. That's talking about Arsenal. Of course, 3-2 on aggregate for them, and they will be playing in the UEFA Champions League group stage. And the group stage draw will come up on the 3rd of October next month, and the group matches begins on the 13th of next month. What a man cannot do, a man can do better. And that's the case of Arsenal.
Arsenal, yes. Looking at their female team, we have seen they are good they've done in the past. And comparing them to the male team is something. Let me say something.
They nearly won the league last year.
So
just 1 point. Chelsea won the league with 1 point.
Their female team have been doing well in terms of their matches, either Champions League or league. So, but looking at the main team, maybe they have another crisis.
They have another crisis. Well, still talking about the women's league this morning. Chelsea came from behind to defeat West Ham United. Sam Kerr was on target, and of course, Emily Bright was as well on target for Chelsea yesterday. It was West Ham's captain who got the first goal in that encounter at Kingsmeadow Stadium. Well, James, the younger sister of Reece James, missed a penalty. Having won the penalty, she missed the penalty, but her brother was in attendance to see that game. And of course, Chelsea now, and Chelsea are 4th on the table as we speak in the Women's League. That's talking about WSL, the Women's Super League in England. Arsenal tops the table with 2 points. Well, it's looking good for both Arsenal male and women team. Arsenal male tops the table, Arsenal women tops the table.
Like we are seeing, this is another Arsenal entirely.
This is another Arsenal.
New Arsenal.
For your plastic mind, this is not start.
Yes, because looking at you've seen that the male have been doing well to this season. And they have been at top, though we know they are still coming down.
You talk about, I don't know about that one. All right, Manchester United is second on the log with 6 points, having played 2 games. Aston Villa women 3rd on the table, having played 2 games as well with 6 points. Chelsea played 3 games and they are with 6 points on the table. Everton are 5th. With 3 points, Liverpool 3 points, Brighton and Overbeam 3 points, Tottenham 8 on the table with 3 points as well. And Reading occupies the 12th position with no point. Yeah, Manchester City women haven't won any of their games this season. Yes, they've played 2 matches and lost the 2 matches. Same with Leicester women, and Manchester City sits 10th, Leicester City sits women 11th, and Reading women sits 12th. On the WSL table. Let's quickly talk about some transfer gossips this morning before we take our leave. As we understand that years before transfer stories, we understand that Chelsea recovered World Cup Denmark. Denmark will be wearing a toned down jersey in protest for Qatar, in protest to host Qatar in this year's World Cup. And of course, the Premier League so far the most injuries to players across the top 5 leagues in European football last season. New data shows that of 1,231 injuries to Premier League clubs, Chelsea were the club hit by the most with 97 players from research.
Yes, it actually affected the team. Let me say the team generally, because looking at how they performed in the UEFA Champions League, you can see that they didn't perform well. Looking at the likes of Manchester City, who only got into the UEFA Champions League semi-final. Then, so looking at it, you see that this injury crisis is something that is affecting the team.
Well, we hope that these players would not be affected with injuries this season. We need to wrap up this morning. Many thanks to everyone that made this production possible. Omotayo Adebodun is my name. Muideen Adeleke is the producer of this program. Tomorrow is another day we're enjoying some of our colleagues as far as sport is concerned. AM Sports returns tomorrow. Omotayo Adebodun is my name, and thanks for watching this morning. Good morning.
Flamingos and the score 1-0 in favor of Nigeria. Beautiful flick there by Blessing Emmanuel. And Taiwo Afolabi does a great job of holding off two defenders and getting the ball perfectly to Esther Ajakaye. And she does the rest, putting the ball into the back of the net. And the score, Flamingos of Nigeria 1, Egypt 0. Next up is a corner kick taken by Fatima Adesina, and it bounces just right for Omowumi Bello, and she heads it into the back of the net. Second goal for the Flamingos against the Egyptians. And as you see, the corner kick comes in, goalkeeper tries to go for it, misses it, and it just bounced perfectly for Omowumi Bello, and she does the rest, putting the ball into the back of the net. And here we have a showing from the Egyptians. Nada Mansour gets the ball into the area. Razan Tayel gets a foot on it, but she doesn't get it on target. Ball goes wide, and that chance goes away for the Egyptians. Moving to the second half, a corner kick for the Flamingos, and it's headed out of the area, but not as far as Miracle Husani, who slams the ball into the back of the net.